Welcome to this very special edition of the Joe from Texas podcast. I'm your host and moderator, Stefan Mahailu, literally in the home of Republican presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy. We just wrapped up a great discussion with Vivek and with our guest of honor, Joe from Texas. Joe, the big news is Vivek Ramaswamy signed the contract from the American people. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's a big day. I mean, it's a big signature on a contract that's very dear to me, and I hope millions and millions of Americans. That's a great start. And I said in our interview earlier, he's the bear, I'm the cub. Just to be able to follow him around a little bit, I'm gonna pick up some crumbs. I assure you, we're gonna get some. We're gonna get some following now. This was a big day for Joe from Texas.
And why is it so important to have this national discussion with such a national figure? And you two gentlemen are a lot alike. Self-made business owners, not politicians, just to have that discussion with someone of that caliber of Vivek Ramaswamy. How important is that towards your mission of reducing the $34 trillion national debt?
Well, we're crisscrossing the United States, and when we're talking to people, like I visited with Newt Gingrich, had lunch with him. When you say people like that, and Vivek, right, he's right in the spotlight today, and going to be for many, many more years going. We know he's going to be somebody that the United States will welcome into the White House sooner or later, and that's a big deal for me. Just to sit here and visit with him in his house, let me come to his home, visit with him, sign first man in person to sign this contract. This will go in the frame in my office, and I'll cherish it forever.
And now we need 4,999,999 more, because is the goal not 5 million people across the country signing the contract from the American people to let politicians know, take the debt seriously and reduce it?
That's right. If we can get, when I crisscross the country, people tell me, Joe, my vote is not going to count. One vote doesn't count. So we want to do like Newt Gingrich did in the 90s. We want to have a contract, but not with America, from the American people. This is what this is from. It's from the American people to the president. And we'll sit down with the candidate, one of the candidates, maybe in October, and lay our plan out to him. If he will address this, will embrace this, and get this at least voted on like Newt Gingrich and them did, then we'll go back to our people, every person that signed on, and say, hey, we need to vote for this person. And if we can move 5 million votes, we'll sway the election. That's my goal. I want to sway this 2024 election in a positive way for 338 million Americans and live where I live.
And now, obviously, I'm on Team Joe from Texas, but in my previous life, I was Vivek Ramaswamy's spokesman and deputy communications director. And you two really are a lot of like. You've both lived the arc of the American dream. You've both built businesses from literally nothing. Both of you are not political. You love America. So why is it so important for people like both of you, Vivek Ramaswamy and Joe from Texas, to say, okay, we're not politicians. We don't have an axe to grind. We don't have an agenda other than making America a better place to live?
Well, we made what we made in America, so we owe something back. He made his fortune here. I've been successful now for 50 years. So look at that. I need to give something back. It's not just sit back and help just in our local community, which we love to do. But in order to help millions of people, I have to get out of Beaumont, Texas, and get on the road and see if I can't get 5 million or plus to say, hey, we're going to change the direction of this country. And if we can do that, then I've accomplished more than I'd ever dreamed.
Any other thoughts about meeting someone as significant in the national conservative movement as Vivek Ramaswamy, and having just the discussion about saying this is important for November, and whoever is president needs to listen?
Well, yes, the next president needs to listen to America, because this is not just Joe Penland talking. This is America. We've compiled this for a long time now. We've been doing this now for several years, gathering this up ever since this new president got sworn in a few years ago. I knew right then we need to get on the mission if we were going to do something. I'll be 74 years old at this election, most important election in my life. And anybody that can listen or hear this today, it's your most important election also. Don't let this one pass, and let us continue to go down the slippery slope that we are financially. This country is in trouble financially, and we need to stop it. We need somebody that'll get back a hold of common sense in Washington.
And hopefully we see a lot of you and Vivek Ramaswamy on the campaign trail, or the trail, leading up to November.
Well, maybe he'll invite me out sometime. He said when he comes to Texas, he's going to give me a holler and we'll get together. We'll show him some hospitality there. And if he wants me to go somewhere, I'll fly wherever he wants me to go to advance this agenda.